Well, my name is Andrew. My last name is Autin. Mm-hmm. On social media, I go by Andrew James. I'm a full-time musician. I've been that way since probably early 1990s, you know. I just love music. I've been playing guitar and keyboard my whole life. I love music. I love KISS.
Yeah.
That's what got me into it. And I rock and roll, man. You come see me play and you'll know. Because I just leave a mark on you when you watch me play guitar. I just melt your face right off.
What are some of the projects that you're doing right now?
Well, I'm in 4 bands. My main band is called Mojeaux. We're a corporate wedding band, dance band, party band. We play a variety of music. You know, we go oldies, dance. We do a little bit of country, hip hop, rock and roll. You know, anything current, top 40. We play weddings, corporates. We went to the Super Bowl in 2010 with the Saints.
Nice.
We played in Miami. We played for Microsoft in the Superdome. I mean, we've done some big things. We were in a movie called Contraband in 2012. It came out with Mark Walberg. We got to be in a movie with him. I got to teach Bill and Ted for the Bill and Ted movie. Mm-hmm. I taught guitar to Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
So got to do all that. So, I mean, just little things that being in Mojeaux just opened up doors, you know?
Yeah.
That's one band. And then the other band is called Show NOLA. We're a tribute band, and we do tributes to Journey, Stix and Foreigner, Def Leppard, and Bon Jovi. So we play corporate parties and fairs and festivals, and we travel all over the United States. Whoever wants to have a night of Journey or any of the other bands I mentioned, you know, we can do 2-hour set of Journey. We can do an hour set of Def Leppard or any of the other ones we do. They just pick and choose what they want.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Can you take this off of the sitting right on top of the mic?
Oh yeah, glasses. Yeah, just move that over there.
All right. Cool. All right. Let's see where you finished at that. So you said that it's a full-time gig for you, but you also previously, before we started recording, was talking about a restaurant that you owned. Were you juggling this many projects at the same time as that?
Yeah, I was. My girlfriend and I opened a restaurant called the Rock and Roll Kitchen. It was in 2023. And, you know, I just always had a dream of having a restaurant one day because my mom taught me how to cook. And I mean, I like to cook a lot of foods like rice and gravies and spaghetti and meatballs and mac and cheese and just a lot of great dishes. And I thought, you know, hey, I'm going to give it a whirl, try to see if I can make a dent in this local area with a new restaurant in town. And we made it like a rock and roll theme. I had KISS pictures all over the wall and Led Zeppelin and I mean, just anything classic rock. It was plastered all over the walls and we played music videos all day while people were eating.
Yeah.
It was a cool thing, you know, but the economy just made it really tough.
Yeah.
So,
and you were juggling these other projects back then too.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we don't play every day, so most of my gigs are usually like on a Wednesday or a Thursday and definitely a weekend. So I'd be working whenever I could and she'd work whenever, you know, most of the other times. And,
yeah.
You know, there was always people there.
Yeah.
We had a staff and stuff.
So doing the gigs, did you have somewhat of a regular schedule? I mean, more so than maybe someone that didn't know where they were going to be next week because you were doing more corporate gigs and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I always know where I'm going to be. You know, I have contracts for all my weddings and stuff, so we book like a year or two out. So I have weddings. I had just booked a wedding in 2028 the other day.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, these people, I'm like, look, it's never too early to book. If you want this band, you know, it might get taken, so you want to lock it in now.
Yeah.
Get your food and your band. That's what I tell all my brides.
Yeah.
That's the best thing people remember.
Well, that's your favorite stuff too, right?
That's it. You know, that's what pays the bills.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Metairie.
Okay.
You know, I was born in Metairie, Louisiana, right off of West Napoleon Avenue. And my parents, they were really good parents, man. I tell you, they were very protective of me. It was a good and bad thing, right? Nothing was going to happen to me because they protected me. But then again, I didn't get to see things and do things that most people did. Oh, you didn't do that? Oh, dude, your parents sheltered you, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't get to freaking have cool bikes, man. My first little bike when I was a kid was a stupid Schwinn Stingray. Everybody else had like mag scramblers and what do they call red lines and mongoose bikes?
Dude,
remember
mongoose,
those things?
Yes.
Dude, not me. Dude, I had a purple Schwinn Stingray with a sparkle silver seat.
Was that the banana seat?
Dude, the banana seat.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, that was my sister's bike, and it just trickled down to me because, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, so household, who did you grow up with? You had one sibling?
No, I have 2 sisters growing up. They're older. And my parents. That's it.
Yeah.
Stayed in that neighborhood my whole life. I actually just moved, you know, in October of last year. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
That, I mean, it kept you incredibly grounded as a child. Did it make you, I guess, have an appetite for something that was more out of the ordinary? Like you said, you gravitated towards KISS.
That was my life.
Do you think that it just shocked you and it took all of your attention because you had never seen anything like it before?
It did. I don't know what it did to me. I guess a lot of musicians feel the same as me because I've seen a lot of these famous guys and they have the same feelings about that band that I have. You know, it's just seeing those guys when you were young, 5 and 4, and you know, I was 6 years old. You know, and Destroyer came out in those outfits and the music, it was just magic. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
But it took a toll on me, and I knew that's what I wanted to do for my life. You know, I could have played sports, but I didn't care about that.
Yeah.
Music. You know, I picked up the guitar and never looked back.
How different was KISS from, let's say, what your parents were listening to?
Dude, my parents listened to Perry Como.
Okay,
so if you know Perry Como is,
yeah,
it was like drastic. He was like one of those crooner guys, you know.
Yeah.
They like Frank Sinatra and Andy Williams and dude, I don't know, just everything that's really like. I mean, it's good music. I really like it today because I play a lot of the songs. You'd be surprised. We do this karaoke thing and people come up and request a lot of those songs and they're good. Johnny Mathis, you know.
Yeah.
So. Dude, it's great music. Can't go wrong with that. But when you're a kid growing up, it's not cool to listen to that.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
There's nothing edgy about Perry Como.
No, dude.
What about your sisters? What were they into? How much older, by the way?
Well, they were like 8 and 9 years older than me. I think one of them's like 10 years. I have 2. So one was like maybe 7 years old, and the other one was 10, you know. So they were drastically older than me. And they were listening to like, you know, KISS before I even knew what that was.
Okay.
But when I knew what it was, dude, I was all into that stuff. They had posters in in their room and stuff, and
so that was your gateway then.
That was it.
Because of them?
They had the albums, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then I'd go to like some friends' houses, and I'd just see like the KISS bicentennial picture where they had the flag with the Peter had the headband with the blood on it. You know, that was just magic. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, that's funny. So you decide to pursue it. How old are you when you pick up a guitar?
I was probably 12.
Okay.
My friend down the street had a guitar. It was like a classical guitar. It wasn't electric. And he would take lessons, and he's like, man, I just learned Stairway to Heaven today. And I was like, oh, cool, man. Can you know any KISS songs? That's all I cared about. So I would just go play on that thing when he wasn't playing on it, and like it had like one string missing. I don't know. And then I'd play with a tennis racket, like just play like I'm playing guitar, like air guitar, until I was able to get my own guitar. And that wasn't until I got a job. So I had to make my own money to pay for my first guitar. So, dude, that
what did you get?
I got a Mako Explorer. It was just a $99 guitar. It was cheap.
Yeah.
My second guitar was the real deal. I got a Jackson. It was a real nice one. It cost like $1,500 back in like 1985.
Wow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I saved up my money all the time. I worked at Zapparto's.
Okay.
Grocery store, dude, pushing carts.
Yeah.
Doing whatever I had to do to build up the money to buy a guitar.
Yeah.
You know, I went to Catholic school my whole life. I went to St. Edward's, and then I went to Rummel. And then after I graduated from Rummel, I took a little while off and started playing in bands, and then I ended up going to college like way later, but I graduated from college too.
Yeah.
Psychology.
Come on.
So yeah, I got a minor in music.
You sizing me up right now?
Yeah, dude. Look, man, my mom believed that you got to have college, dude. Like if without that, you're not going to get a good job one day. So, you know, you got to have something to fall back on in case the music doesn't work out for you.
I was told the same thing. Got to go to college. I was just told you're going to college. It wasn't
right.
Like,
and I always like just blew it off like, oh yeah. And then one day I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. Get it out the way. And luckily enough, I graduated in the fall of '99, got my degree, and got a job at East Jefferson Hospital, and I didn't take it because I got also offered a job playing in a wedding band, and I took that. So ever since that day, I've been playing in weddings and casinos and stuff. So
was that the start of music professionally for you?
I have to say, yeah, that was probably the first band where I actually made real money that I could like live on. You know, before that, I was in a few classic rock bands that just, you know, make $50 here and there.
Sure.
It wasn't enough to live on or nothing. But
what was it, like bars, house
yeah, it was
parties,
just bars.
things? Yeah.
Bars aren't going to pay you big money.
Through high school, were you playing that type of thing?
I did remember playing at like a VFW hall.
Sure.
I was in a band called Osiris, and we did a Metallica tribute, and we just played all Metallica when it came out. That was my favorite. That actually took Kiss's place for a little while. When Metallica, Master of Puppets, and Ride the Lightning came out, dude, that changed my life. Those guys, just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I never heard music like that before. Like, when they came out, it was like totally like, wow. So,
the thing that comes to mind for me, because, I mean, me too. I had the damn, I wish I still had that little t-shirt. I could pass it on to my son. The Ride the Lightning t-shirt, you know.
Metal up your ass. Remember that?
Yeah. The thing that comes to mind for me is a lot of musicians will use that turn of phrase, it changed my life. And fans can say it too, but it occurs to me that when a musician is saying, especially somebody that is playing guitar, like, you're perhaps dissecting what they did, and you maybe have a better understanding of the progression that comes about when something like that is released. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words, a fan can listen to the lyrics or the attitude or see the music video and be like, wow, that's amazing. But a guitarist or an instrumentalist in general is going a little further. Did you hear that? Did you hear this? Mm-hmm. And were they appealing to you in that manner?
I don't think at that point it was. It was just the songs, you know. I didn't start dissecting the music.
No.
But nowadays, I learned that a lot of girls, they listen to lyrics. And like me, I'm like focusing on every instrument other than the lyrics. I'm like deciphering, what's that keyboard doing? Oh, God, there's the guitar part. And,
right.
You know, the drum, like just putting everything together. I see all the pieces. Yeah. Whereas girls are like, dude, did you listen to that lyric, dude? I'm like, I didn't even pay attention.
Right, yeah.
I couldn't tell you. Like, she's crying over there. I'm like, why? What are you crying for? You're not listening to the words? No, dude. I'm like, listen to the guitar part.
That's funny. There was, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but and I won't be able to recall his name, but there was a famous composer that was, for the first time, it was a reaction video, which is kind of corny, but they were watching a famous composer listen to Tool for the first time.
I love those videos.
Okay.
See their reaction.
So, yeah, people get hooked on other people's reactions to things, and some of them come across as corny to me, but this one was interesting because here's a guy that is probably has no interest in that genre of music,
right.
You know? But if you take somebody like Tool with their off-the-wall time signatures and stuff, then he realizes how complex what he's hearing is, and
right.
then he can appreciate it for the sorts of things that we were just talking about, where an instrumentalist, from that perspective, it doesn't matter what the genre is, doesn't matter what they're saying, just like
right.
you said, but he can tell, like, that's never been done before, and it might have been glazed over by the casual listener on the radio or something.
Yeah.
So it is a definitive, significant moment in your life when someone does something that no one else has ever done before. It's remarkable.
Right.
And you're the type of person, or a musician is the type of person that can actually appreciate
right.
that moment because they know what went into it.
Sure.
That's, I don't know, that blows me away.
Now, there are some songs, too, like, don't get me wrong, like lyrics, I do pay attention. Like back in the 70s, I mean, there was so many good songs like Chicago, like If You Leave Me Now. Like, dude, those are great songs, you know? What was that? Sometimes When We Touch. Like, dude, just listen to the words and just the music. It's just beautiful. You know, like those kind of songs. They're really like, I don't know, sappy, tear-jerking ballads. But I do appreciate all of that stuff. And I pay attention to those lyrics. I mean, it's kind of sucky when you break up with somebody and you listen to those songs, you know? I mean, then you start listening to the words and like you just feel horrible.
Yeah.
But, you know, but I listen to words too nowadays, but I mostly focus on the music. You know, I got to listen to what's going on, and I just train my ear to pick up what key it's in and all that stuff. So,
yeah,
you know.
I like going back and listening to the lyrics after I know what was going on, right? When that, like you mentioned, If You Leave Me Now, they were at recording studios grounds, and he had gotten into a huge argument with his girlfriend, and she locked herself. They were like, you know, drunk and drugging it and stuff. She locked herself in the bathroom, and he's screaming, banging on the door. She's not responding or letting him in because in the midst of an argument and heated, he goes, sits down at the piano to take a breath and writes that song.
Right.
So, you know, at first you're like, oh, mushy love song and all of that crap. But when you learn about that story, it kind of pulls you into the moment. And then you go listen to the lyrics and realize where he's coming from. And it's like, that's golden.
Right.
That's beautiful, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Freaking awesome songs, man.
Do you write any lyrics? Yeah.
I do. I have a couple of songs. I'm not a great lyricist, but I have a couple of songs that I wrote. You know, I write my own music. I don't make money on it. I don't survive on it, but I just do it for my own fun. You know, I like to go in here and just put down a drum beat and just see where it takes me. You know, during COVID, I did a lot of that because I couldn't play live. I was playing in some bands because we did work. We were just trying to push the envelope to see what we could do. But for the most part, my Mojeaux Band, we got shut down. All the weddings and things we couldn't play. But I wrote a lot of material just sitting around.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy, man. I wrote some good stuff too. I couldn't believe some of the stuff I came up with. Just put a drum beat down and just see where it takes you.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
That COVID was the genesis for a lot of people's independent works, remote works. I've talked to a lot of musicians that are usually either session players or parts of several bands, and it was a catalyst for their first solo album. You know, because what are you going to do? Like you're saying, you know, you got to keep playing. You really want to get that feeling out of that thought out or something, and then you just start. If you chronicle that, it takes on a life of its own, you know?
Yep. We made a bunch of videos where like everybody would be in their room shooting their part, and we put it together and we made a song.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That's what it was for a lot of people. I talked to a guy that put himself on a regiment. I want to say it was like, what did they end up doing? It was like over 35 videos in 1 month's time. Daily. It was like a daily vlog almost, you know. He'd get together with his main songwriting partner and they would go through the motions and just put it out there, just push it out as content, you know.
Right. A
lot of people did like the festing in place or the live streams that other people could jump on because everybody was, I don't know, we were all isolated, so it was good. You know? It was good to be able to feel that connection when you felt so isolated, you know.
Oh yeah. Dude, I was depressed. You know, because I couldn't really work with my band that makes, you know, my living go. So, I mean, I was stuck, you know. So I would try to play anywhere and everywhere that I could. And we were playing a bunch outside, and people would get, I don't know, we just put us in a corner somewhere. We'd play rock and roll behind shields and stuff. So it was just kind of crazy. I felt like we were like zoo animals. Yeah. You know?
I was paranoid, dude. I'd have to go to like run to 2 stores for 5 minutes and I'm inside. Because it was at the height of the propaganda. I'm not taking political sides or anything. I'm just saying they were putting it out there hot and heavy. And I was just like, what am I supposed to do? What am I not supposed to do? What is this thing? What's going to happen to us all and all of that shit. Meanwhile, there were people that were like trying to do dining outside or trying to have small 3-piece bands or something outside. I mean, so you would just play wherever anybody would let you, or
we played?
We're pushing the envelope a little.
Played at Southport Hall like regularly with a couple of my bands. At that time, I had another band I was in, so I was in 5. So, you know, like I was just trying to make things work, you know, just to make money because that was the only way to pay bills. I mean, what do they want you to do? How you survive? Your bills aren't stopping.
I don't think you were concerned with that so much.
Right.
So what are you going to do with this, the original material that you're sitting on? I mean, how long has this been going on?
Man, I've been writing for a long time. I got songs, you know, some songs are outdated, you know, they sound like Bon Jovi or Firehouse. They're kind of 80s rockish. Some songs, they sound like it could be something that I could do. I like something that's current. I don't know. I write dance stuff. I don't know what I'm going to come out with.
Yeah.
I like new age piece of music I write. It might sound classic or it might sound like, I don't know, like real, I don't even know how you put it. Like, it's ethereal. I don't know. It's like, just like some pianos with just like real relaxing. Like you might want to get a massage or something.
Yeah.
You know, I love that kind of music. It's just so relaxing, you know. I don't know. I think that's just my personality. You know, I'm not like very aggressive. I'm more chill. I like just things that have feel, you know. It's got to pull out an emotion, you know.
Sure.
My music got to feel it, you know. So
I had talked to heavy metal band there on the North Shore, Pius, and one of the main goals of the lead for the band, he was a singer and formed the band with his friend. His main goal was to come up with something that was timeless. He felt like that made it kind of validated it in some respect. And I say that because you were just mentioning, you're like, this one's from this era, it's kind of dated. So you kind of discount it a little bit in your mind, I guess, because you feel like it lacks relevance because of its age, I suppose? Just
because, you know, it sounds like that time when I wrote it.
Yeah.
But then again, I could take that same song and give it a different twist, you know?
How do you file all of this away when you're coming up with so many different aspects of music?
Dropbox.
Okay.
If Dropbox goes down, I'm in trouble. But I file all my songs. I just save them in folders. I have dated. I
don't know what the hell it is. I name stuff like, if I was looking at The Color Purple over here, then that's when I'm naming that song, and then I move on to the next thing. But then I go back a week later, I'm like, what the hell is Purple? I got to go click and listen on that. Like, I have no filing.
Right, it's like you don't want to have a stupid name for a song like Tuna Fish or something. like you got to kind of listen to the song and be like, all right, there is a moment where you like got a few ideas of what it could be, and then, I don't know, you just kind of, I guess, sit on it until you think of something cool, and I don't know. I have a song called Emotion in Motion, you know, and it just, when you listen to it, it's very emotional, you know, but then there's a part in it where it kind of lifts you up. So, I don't know. I just thought of it as that. That's a cool name, Emotion in Motion. Yeah. So, I don't know.
I got you.
I have a song called Out of the Blue because it just hit me out of the blue.
There you go.
You know,
that's what I was talking
like
about.
The song just came to me like that. Yeah. So I named it Out of the Blue.
Yeah. How do you feel that these gigs, because you're the first person I'm talking to that does a lot of corporate gigs and weddings and things like that. How does that differ from someone that does not do those sorts of things? Someone that does traditional show bills and venues and things like that?
Well, how it differs, I mean, you have contracts. You know, there's a little bit of stress involved.
Okay.
You know, you have clients that are like, they see your product and they want that, you know. And if they don't get that, they'll make sure they let you know. Gotcha. But I mean, luckily enough, I've never really had a situation where they weren't happy or nothing. So it's just a little more stress involved when you have contracts. And, you know, you have brides that are, you know, could be bridezillas. You don't know what kind of bride you're dealing with. You know, they might have one that's really cool and, hey, man, do your thing. And then you got a bride that's like, I don't want this song, and I don't want this song, and I don't want that song, and that song, and that song. And they scratch off every song we do. And I'm like, why'd you book us?
Yeah.
You know, but we go in and we knock it out. You know, most people just want to dance. They want to have a dance floor that's just packed.
Yeah.
And that's what we give them.
Yeah.
You know, we rarely have a dance floor that's like nobody's on it. You know, it never happens. You know.
Are you submitting towards the end, like right before the day of, let's say, are you submitting things for approval? How does that work?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, you mentioned that they might X out 15 specific songs.
When they book the band that I'm in, Mojeaux, like I'll send them out. Once they book us, I'll send them out. I'll send them to our website, and it's got our song list. And I usually tell them, look, pick a few songs that you like, that you really like. Pick some that you don't want played, and let us do the rest. You know, we have all this experience for a reason, and you know we're successful for a reason. Just like a doctor, you're not going to go in there and be like, don't use that scalpel. You know, don't use that. Don't use that. Please don't use that. You trust the guy.
Sure.
You have a feeling that this guy is a doctor. He knows kind of what he's doing, although I'm kind of worried today sometimes with doctors. But, you know, for the most part, when you're growing up, you go to the doctor, you trust the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you trust the band that you hire because they're pros. I mean, we've done it a long time, and we know what works. We know what doesn't work. So we got to keep the dance floor packed, you know.
Yeah.
We want the clients to be very happy.
And you know what else just hit me? So you're not having to spend much time recording and editing, mastering, all of these things that other bands would do. The traditional. Well, I guess that would have to be somebody writing originals.
Yeah, we're a cover band, so we just play like cover tunes, you know.
So you're able to juggle so many projects for that reason as well. You're not tied up in the studio.
Right.
A whole lot.
I'm not. I don't really have anything that's original, other than my own personal writing in my house. You know.
Sure.
I don't go try to play my originals. A lot of people are like, why don't you play that? I'm like, dude, because people would probably go to the bathroom.
It's a hard sell.
It is, man. Unless you're playing in an original venue and you're like got some kind of vibe about you that's cool. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. My stuff's too like everywhere. It's like I got slow stuff, I got fast stuff, I got country sounding stuff, I got ZZ Top sounding stuff. It's just too like, I guess you'd call it bipolar. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all over the map. I don't really care to play original material live. I just want to write it for my own enjoyment.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
I had somebody, and I don't know if he realizes he did it or not, but Chris LeBlanc, he set me straight. He just came out so insistent upon this point, and he made a really good point, and he drove it home. Because I was either harping on, or maybe I appeared like I was harping on the difference between cover bands and original bands. And he just kind of stopped, and he was like, who did he name? Rolling Stones, and two other bands. He's like, Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and somebody else. He's like, they all played covers. He's like, they're all covered. Yeah. And he stops like that. He's like, yeah. 3 of the greatest bands in the fucking world.
Right.
All wrote
Van
covers.
Halen, dude. They were a cover band.
Right.
And they got covers on their records.
Lived off of covers. He's like, I played a song for him before we started recording, and he's like, you see, you played that song? That's hard shit. And he said, Midnight Star. He's like, you go try to fucking play Midnight Star. Good luck, partner. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're right, dude. If you can't nail it, then you're not that guy. You're not that musician, you know?
Right.
And it's funny because even though it's a song that somebody else has heard before, it's a damn good way for people to gauge your skill. Because they know already what it's supposed to sound like. Whereas if you're doing your own original material, they don't know if you fucked up that last chord or not because they never heard the song before, you know?
Yeah.
So to be able to articulate that in a manner, especially on your level, because you're with clients that expect a certain product. And it has to be a regular occurrence. Like, it has to be spot on, you know?
Yeah, man. Not only audio that they hear, but visually too, man. We bring out like a great light show. You know, I own all that stuff. I just wanted to make sure I'm set. Gotta have the lights, you gotta have the sound. You know, you gotta have both.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes it's like, it seems the way music is today, dude, you gotta do some crazy crap in order to get famous, dude. You basically have to set yourself on fire, dude, to make people like, be like, wow. Everything's been done already.
Yeah, but I was about to say, look at all of TikTok. I mean, please. It's horrible. Do you ever go on there?
That's the one app I don't really pay much attention to. You know, all my friends are like, you're on TikTok? I'm like, no, you can make a lot of money on that. Well, no. I'm sure I could. All you got to do is play some, get licks, and like it might go viral. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man.
It's a dog and pony show. I was on it for a short moment and then had to get off because it places value on things that some people don't. Myself, I don't. If you're gonna act like an ass in front of the camera or shake your titties or something like that, get the fuck on. Like, I don't have time for that. I don't. Right. I'm not impressed by it, and you look like an idiot. You know?
It definitely shows the IQ of people, man. I tell you,
it's terrible, man.
It really is. You can tell somebody's IQ just by that TikTok video, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, it's funny, speaking of that, and you and I were talking about all the technology that our generation has had to keep up to snuff on. These algorithms are reading what we like and what we expect. So in that, what you just said about, you know, go on somebody's TikTok and you can tell what kind of person you're dealing with, it's true.
Yeah.
It's 100% true. If he's seeing nothing but tits and ass, then that guy likes to stare at that all the time. It didn't just happen right now.
Right.
But it's all he's going to see. And it lumps it all together. And it curates a one-sided perception of reality, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It interests me. Variety interests me. Just like in your songwriting, you sit down, you don't know what's going to come out, but you appreciate it all equally, you know?
Right.
And I think that's important to stay well-rounded and not so closed-minded. You know?
Yeah, man.
I think that enables you to be able to do what you do when you sit down and write. You know?
Right. I know. That's a big thing you mentioned a little while ago about cover band versus original band. Dude, it's almost like Coke versus Pepsi. It's like tracks versus no tracks. Dude, it's like all these different things that are like, they got two different sides. People like, some people go there, some people go there. People are like, man, you're in a cover band? Dude, they freaking shun you for that, you know?
Yeah.
But then again, I don't have to work a day job. You do. I get to play music all the time. Granted, yeah, it's cover music, but I'm playing music and you're not.
Yeah.
So thank you for not being in a cover band.
Sure.
Because it makes my job easier, you know. But I do love original bands, you know. I mean, there's local guys that are in original bands that are great. You know, Lily and Axe, dude. I love that band.
Right.
I grew up with that band. They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, Phil Anselmo went to Pantera. Like, he was in Razor White.
Mm-hmm.
They was local. But, man, that's where they got him from, dude. I love Pantera, man. God rest Dimebag's soul, because he was my, other than Eddie and Ace, dude, Dimebag Darrell made a serious mark on me.
Yeah.
That guy's aggression, the way he played, dude, he was like, he was fierce. When that guy came out, 1987, I remember, because Kirk used to be my guitar teacher when my guitar teacher was on tour.
Winstein, you were mentioning that
Kirk
earlier.
Winstein, he was my guitar teacher when he would fill in. And he would show me all the cool KISS songs that I really liked. Because, I mean, when you first start and play guitar, you don't really care to learn, like, Mary Had a Little Lamb and all that.
Right.
Dude, I want to learn freaking KISS.
Right.
I want to learn all the songs I love.
Yeah.
And Kirk played them great. Dude, I was like, man, that sounds just like it. He would show it to me.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from him. You know, he's a cool guy, boy, I tell you.
Yeah.
Hey, have you heard about Neworleansmusicians.com? It's a place where articles, music videos, interviews, and streaming music from Louisiana musicians can be found. Fans can join free. Music business professionals can join free too. And Louisiana musicians can join for free as well. It's also the place where Louisiana bands go to network and get free promotion. We've definitely got plenty, like this band. Check them out.
What do I see? As I came into the door.
So
That so the Coke versus Pepsi and the covers versus originals. I don't know what I was getting at, but it caused me to look at that through the ages. And if, let's just say, you go back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, it was almost a format where some new talent was discovered, but their first album wasn't going to be anything but covers. And maybe later on down the road that format changes, but still on stage or in whoever's band's next album, they're going to have at least one cover. And it's almost like a flex. It's almost like, you know, look what we can do.
Right.
You know?
that draws them in. Probably use that cover tune, draw them in. Like, you really got me, right?
Well, that's what I was getting at, because, you know, we agree that originals are hard sells. The cover is kind of like grabbing the attention of the audience to say, look, you know this song, you like this song, check it out. I could play that song good. Did you like that? All right, check out something else that I just wrote. It's kind of like a shoe, and you know what I'm saying? So I started to just kind of dissect, I guess, the functionality of cover songs for either party, for a band that's just a cover band or for a band that's just an originals band, you know. But I mean, it's a great utility,
right?
And it ultimately it will showcase your skill and get the attention of others. So I mean, it's a valuable tool. You know?
Oh yeah. And there's another debate too: sheet music versus play by ear.
Right.
You know, are you a reader or are you not?
Oh yeah.
Me? No. If you put sheet music in front of me, that's a good way to shut me up quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read a little bit, you know, but as far as music goes, you know, I just play by ear.
Speaking of Kirk, he was talking about that, and in the comments of one of the videos that I put out, it became like a trash talking session, you know, where the first guy was like, oh, so in other words, nobody's a real musician in that band. I'm like, what planet are you from? And then somebody, I don't have to say anything, somebody else, a fan, jumps in there and they're like, listen, you know, and they go back and forth, and it's funny to hear. But he was talking about playing by ear. He was also talking about how he would look at tab books on his own work and they were wrong. And he's like,
most of the time they are, because you have somebody else transcribing that.
Right.
So.
He's like, what are you going to, you know, who do you believe? What are you going to do? And why is it so valuable?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, man.
That's funny to me.
No doubt. The reason why I'm more happy with just playing by ear is because when I'm on stage, I'm more into entertaining and just being stuck behind a book of music. Like, you're just staring at that the whole time. Like, how are you actually forming a bond with your audience? Dude,
sure.
I'm out there in their face, dude. I like to get down there and freaking rock with them.
Yeah.
Can't do that with sheet music in front of you.
Well, you know what I've heard? I mean, I've always viewed that the sheet music is like I guess a stepping stone for everybody, maybe for a lot of people when they're getting their start as a child or something. Learn how to read theory, and then from there you can formulate your own invention.
Sure.
But the moment where I've spoken to musicians before, one particularly comes to mind. He's a saxophonist, and the moment where he was able to improvise for the first time was such a freeing feeling that it just kind of it gave birth to a whole new musician. Do you know what I mean? And so I mean it's a different aspect of playing that that I'm sure translates to the instrument through you. You know,
dude, improv is important, man. You have to learn how to improv. If you learn something note for note, and something happens, and you gotta like think outside the box for a second, you gotta know what you're doing, because if you don't, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah. You know, you gotta know how to improv. You know, that's a key thing what I do. I'm mostly improv. I play solos on like certain things that have to be that way. You know, like Don't Stop Believing. You gotta play the solo right. You know, certain songs you gotta do it right. Yeah. Other songs, I just play whatever I want. It doesn't matter, you know. Most people won't know the difference. Yeah. You know, I don't know.
Do you have a preference out of all the projects that you're juggling right now? Do you have a darling, a favorite?
Honestly, no. I love them all, you know. I got to say, my three-piece band, The Generators, is just a lot of fun, and I really like that band because you just never know what's going to happen. Every show is different because we play off a request. People shout out at us, and we don't even know what we're going to be playing. We might be playing freaking Motley Crue one night. We might be playing Engelbert Humperdinck one night. We might be playing Van Halen. We might be playing... You just never know. Somebody shouts out the most random stuff. Last night, somebody was Come Dancing by the Kinks. They shouted that. We played it. Like, Come Dancing. Like, I mean, that's something you never really hear or, you know, think of, but somebody wanted to hear it, so we played it. Wow. You know, ladies like, can y'all know any Santana? Yeah, we'll play some Santana. So we played some Santana. You know any Red Hot Chili Peppers? Yeah, we'll play that. We'll play that. Yeah. You know? So that little band is very, very diverse. Yeah. We go all over the map. Wow. You know, the other night somebody came up and sang Whitney Houston. We were doing a live band karaoke. And we do that once a month. Yeah, tell them, man. At Jaeger's, man. Live band karaoke with the Generators. We, right there in Metairie, or Jefferson, right across from Guitar Center on Clearview. All right. First Thursday of every month, we play live band karaoke. You can come out and sing, and you tell the band what you want to play, what you want us to, you know, what you want to sing.
I'm making the drive. I want some Doors.
Dude, it's funny.
I'm a Jim Morrison guy.
we play a lot of that. You know, we do Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Yeah. We do what's the one? Light My Fire. We do the one with the rain. There you go. One with the roads in the beginning. I forgot the name of that. Yeah, I'm gonna need some. Riders in a Storm.
Drive Me Home. Yeah, I like. What's the one? I'm Your Backdoor Man. I don't know the name of that might be the name of the song, but yeah.
And the way it goes, if my keyboard player knows it, because he's playing bass too with his left hand, and he's steering the ship. You know, if he knows it, we play it. Yeah. Sometimes I know it and he don't know it, so he'll watch me.
Well, y'all right up Doors' alley because they didn't have a bassist either.
Right.
The keyboardist was
he did.
Bassist.
Played, left hand bass.
That's awesome. When you when it's not playing music, when it's not writing music, you're a diehard music fan, obviously. For me, it's music documentaries. What about for you? Do you go hunting for records or memorabilia or watching documentaries or something like? What else music about you?
Man, I don't know. Like if I'm not listening or playing music or anything, I'm usually watching Bugs Bunny cartoons. Yeah. That's my favorite. Like from the 50s, the early Bugs Bunny. Yeah. Dude, I love that. I'll watch videos of that, or I'll put on like an old Kansas record. If I'm into music, like Leftoverture, go listen to that record. I was telling my friend the other day, that album is incredible, and it was recorded here at Studio in the Country in Bogalusa.
No shit.
Dude, go listen to Leftoverture, the whole thing. It's like a storybook. Yeah. It's so beautiful. Like there's some songs that are aggressive. I think Carry On Wayward Son is the worst song on the record. Really? Like it opens the record. That's the one where it came from. And the rest of the album just smokes it. Yeah. I love that album. I can listen to it every day.
Well, now I got to go home and listen.
Go check it out. Yeah. Kerry Livgren was the guitar player, and the stuff he did on that record is just amazing. I don't know, dude. I don't know if a lot of people have even heard that record. Leftoverture. Go listen to it. It's the one with Carry On Wayward Son. It is incredible. The whole record. Just put it on.
You got a record collection?
I do.
Oh, we're going
it's in
there
that closet.
after this video.
It's not a lot, but
No?
it's. I mean, I just have rare KISS records that nobody has, and
Nice.
yeah, a lot of different things like Dokken and. Dude, I'm a Motley Crue fan. I like Dokken. I love Rat.
Yeah.
Whitesnake.
Yeah.
John Sykes, guitar player.
Sure.
One of my favorites. Rest in peace.
My parents, that was a leftover. They split when I was like 9 or so. But the record collection, I was able to get my hands on it after so many years because it became irrelevant. But it was this big, but it started me.
Yeah.
And it got me like, what the hell is this? Never had one of my own to the big LPs to check out, but been hooked ever since. Like, they got a smell to them. They were there, you know
Dude,
what I mean?
right.
That's
Albums
something.
had a smell. You open
Yeah.
up that double thing, it's just like...
Yeah, that's history. That's age. That's
Kids
a fine
these days
wine
don't
right
know,
there.
man, what that album smelled like when you first opened it. It was crazy.
That's a journey.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was my dad's. Maybe I got it at a flea market, but I was digging in one and I found a pack of Easy Waters in there, and I'm like, oh, look at this.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? So you spoke a piece of history too.
Right. One artist that my mom and dad like that I can honestly say I really love is Neil Diamond.
Okay.
Dude, he was great. Like, that
Yeah.
guy's voice, it's
Yeah.
just, you know it's him.
Yeah.
When you hear him. I love Neil Diamond. I still, to this day, man, I love his voice.
I found all kinds of grooves. I found Gino Vanelli because of my parents.
Dude,
You wanna
Gino
talk about a
Vanelli. My
singer.
sisters
That
were
dude,
into him, bro.
Operatic.
When it was like 1978, 79, and he came out with Appaloosa, that record with Appaloosa on it. Bro, that's a freaking awesome album. He has the best musicians in his band.
Yeah.
Go check out that album. I don't know which one it was, what album it was called, but Appaloosa.
Yeah.
Listen to that song. It's freaking great.
You want to talk about eclectic? You were talking about yourself. That was one eclectic mofo, because you listen to his. It could be some. It could sound like opera almost, man. Like some love ballad with pauses. These just genuflex here and goes off on this solo and all of this stuff, and then you got something like Mama Coco, which is like some get on the dance floor groovy shit, and you can't not. There's something in there for everybody,
Dude.
You know.
He had great musicians with him.
Yeah.
That's awesome to be in a band where you have great musicians. It's just a great feeling because, I don't know, man, it's just fun to play in a band. And I'm very blessed that every band that I'm playing in right now has phenomenal musicians. And I'm very blessed to be able to share the stage with those guys.
Talk about some of the guys that you play with.
Well, Show NOLA, my lead singer is Derek Lefebvre. He was in Lillian Axe.
Okay.
Right? He plays in a couple other bands around town, but his voice is, dude, he can sing anything. The dude's voice is a chameleon. He can sound like Dio if you want.
You let me hear because you told me y'all were playing Steve.
Yeah, we do a Journey tribute.
Yeah,
Sounds
Journey
like Steve
tribute,
Perry.
and he nailed Steve Perry, which is probably on a 10 on the scale.
He's
of
very
difficulty.
close, man. He's got that sound.
Yeah.
You know, and my drummer Sergio Yetta, he lived in Nashville, so he got to play with Big and Rich, and like he met a lot of those guys, a lot of, you know, real popular country people. So he was on that circuit for a while. He got to play at the Grand Ole Opry, and he was doing huge shows, you know. So he's a great drummer, you know. The timing's always right. We always play to a click because he said a lot of those session players and a lot of those Nashville players, you got to have that tempo right.
Yeah.
So we don't use tracks in any of these bands that I'm in. We just play to a click because we get the feel of the song where it's perfect, where it sounds like the song. Because sometimes drummers rush things and just throws it out. It's like, man, it don't even sound like the song. It's so fast, you know? Or it's too slow and you're falling asleep.
Yeah.
So we get the tempo just right on all these songs that we're doing with these tributes. When we play Def Leppard, it sounds like freaking Def Leppard, you know?
Yeah.
We got the triggers on the drums, and it sounds like the freaking drum sound. Because if you go back to those early Def Leppard records, the drums are like, they got a specific sound to them, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And we capture that live, dude. We got the triggers and the freaking samples of the kick and the snares and the freaking, cowbells and all. And it sounds just like it.
No shit.
It's killer.
Are y'all ever getting together to rehearse, or it's just gigs?
We do. Like the week of the gig, we usually rehearse, you know, once or twice.
Okay.
But I mean, we played it so much. Like the Journey set is kind of like,
That's what I would imagine. That's kind of why
we're
I
like
was
on
asking.
autopilot with that tribute because
Yeah.
we've done it so many times. It just depends. If the client wants an hour set, then we ain't got to do that many songs. But if they want a 2-hour set, then we have a lot more songs that we got to add. And we don't play all the songs all the time. We just switch it all up. The list is always different. But Journey's, catalog is so good. They have so many songs to pick from
Yeah.
that people love. that's one band that you can do a 2-hour set, you know? Like Foreigner, you can't play 2 hours because they only have like about an hour's worth of songs that people know.
Yeah.
And we just give them all the hits.
Yeah.
So
that was another thing that occurred to me while I was going back and forth with the covers and originals, is that original bands can't fill the slots that cover bands can fill.
No.
You know? I mean, unless they've been doing it for so long that they have so much material, but even then, you know?
Dude, it's totally different, man. Like, just like you're saying, like cover bands and original bands are different in that way. Like, there's I've seen a lot of original bands try to play in cover bands, and dude, they just don't capture the feel of the songs. Like, I don't know, like a cover band that really focuses on it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of elements in these songs that you got to really pay attention to.
Yeah.
Vocals, keyboards, sounds. If you're doing a tribute, you got to focus on that to make it authentic.
Sure.
And that's what we put a lot of time into. I play keys. We have another keyboard player. Like in the tribute, I only play keys on a couple of songs, but on the Journey tribute, my keyboard player, we definitely spend a lot of time with these sounds, and we get it right. So when you hear, they sound like the record.
Yeah.
So
I think it's more often the other way around, where they start off as a cover band and then transition into original. Like, you got to learn what you're talking about before you make that leap. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Good enough to make that leap.
I got to give a shout out to my buddy Travis Mark, because this guy, he does it all.
Yeah.
He's original. He's cover. He plays everything. He's the nicest guy you ever want to see, meet, anything. Go look him up. Travis Mark, M-A-R-C. He's all over the place. I love that guy.
Deep Sleep Atlantic is
Deep
where you
Sleep
can
Atlantic.
find,
Go check out their songs, man. I'm telling you, he mixed everything, mastered everything, recorded everything. This dude's like incredible.
That's the South African Connect right there.
Right.
Oh man, I had a good one for you. I was trying to stop it from slipping away. You got me with Travis Mark. It just
Dude, I know. I blew your mind on that one.
Well, because it's everybody listening, it's a mutual friend of ours that actually brought us together today. And hell of a guy. And that's why I was able to get this interview. So definitely fortunate.
Dude, I'm glad that he told me about it. I told you about me, told me about you, because I was like, man, I'd like to do that. Because I did his little podcast, and it worked out great, you know?
Yeah, musician's mentor.
Yeah, he wanted to know more about the business side of things when it came to music, you know? And I was like, I've been in this thing. In music, it does become a business at some point. And kind of, it can take the fun out of it for some. Sometimes it may not take the fun out of it, because those are the people that don't have to do the business part of it.
Right.
You're always going to have guys in the band that, oh, you can do it, you know? And then there's going to be guys that do it.
Right.
So I usually, in all the projects, most of them that I'm in, I handle most of the business on that, you know, because I just love to do it. And I think I'm pretty good at it, you know, dealing with clients and contracts and just getting everybody happy and make sure everybody's smiling when we get up there, and when we're done, they shake hands, thank you.
Yeah.
Next year, hopefully we'll be back, you know.
I know what it was. It wasn't so much the business aspect, but it was more methodology. Like, what have you found that helps you along? It could just be for being a musician, or maybe your specific case, any kind of best practices or tech tips or anything like that. I mean, you already talked about going to find the exact sounds to trigger for the certain.
I mean, I use YouTube a lot. Sometimes you can find a song with stripped down parts where you can learn them, you know, you can hear them better, because back in the day when I was growing up, dude, I had a cassette, and you basically had a record or an album, like a little small record or a 45, or you had a cassette, and there's no way you can go in there and like, dude, sometimes the vocals completely hide parts. You can't really hear if the production's really, you know, extravagant. You can't tell what's going on, you know. And nowadays, YouTube, they got guys using AI stripping the song apart, where you can hear the drums, you can hear the keyboards, you can hear the vocals, you can hear the guitar part.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes a difference to me, because I can go in there and listen to it and I'm like, damn, I'm playing it wrong. All these years, you know, like I didn't hear that because it's masked by, you know, by the vocals part or whatever, you know. It's just so produced. You know, Rat has a lot. If you listen to old Rat albums, dude, they got so much reverb and delays and shit on their vocals. It's like, can't make out some things sometimes, you know, get it 100% accurate.
Yeah.
But nowadays, they got guys going in there and stripping all the parts down, and they got tools where you can just take a mixed album and just yank it all apart. have all the individual parts, and that's really cool.
Yeah. Did you ever use tab books or anything like that?
When I was growing up, I did to a certain degree, but then I realized, I'm like, dude, this is just somebody else's interpretation of what they think it is, and it's not necessarily right.
Yeah.
Although Steve Vai put out a book, and it's right, because he did it.
Yeah.
You know, if you got him putting it out, he puts everything that he did. He put his amp settings, he put his effect settings, he put, you know, all the tabs and music notation, everything. So it's 100% legit.
Yeah.
You know, but if it's another guy just transcribing shit, you know, you're not going to get it 100% right.
What's your preferred method when you're trying to get a song down? Just playing by ear?
My ear, dude. I trust my ear now more than anything. And that's just from years of learning song after song after song. And I still get called out on playing shit wrong on some things. And, I'm cool with it, you know. Sometimes I'm like, dude, I'm too far in on this. If I got to go relearn it again, it's going to take me a while to just whatever. But most people don't really know the difference, you know. It's very minute if I'm getting it wrong, if I'm not playing it 100% right. Most solos I don't play right. I just play my own thing. Like I said earlier, if we're playing like Sweet Child of Mine, I'll play that thing pretty accurate, you know. Whitesnake, Eddie Van Halen, I'll play that pretty accurate because we love Eddie Van Halen. And I love John Sykes, and just trying to learn that shit is just hard enough in itself. So, but some songs, you know, if it's like a blues song or something, I just play whatever, dude. It doesn't matter.
Is there a guitarist out there that's always coming up with shit that's like, what is he doing? Is like it's always stumping you? Anybody specific?
Dude, John Sykes, man. I got to tell you, that guy, he wrote some killer shit. Like the way he played, his style, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I think I got it, and then sometimes I'm like, damn, I don't think I have that. He's doing something else. I don't know. It's just he picks so fast sometimes, it's just hard to tell. And if you're using like effects and stuff, and you really can't hone in on exactly what he's doing, but I can get close.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Neil Sean, I love him. Dude, he's so melodic. I love his leads. You know, you can sing everything that he does. He's like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
You know, plus I get to play all his solos, so I try to learn all those note for note.
How did it get to be, because you were naming the 5, like Journey, Def Leppard, how did it get to be those 5? Did you guys get together and say we're doing this?
Well, the reason why is because we try to pick arena bands, right? Bands that will draw girls. Okay. Because the girls bring the guys.
Yes.
There is a formula behind that, right?
Okay, there's a method.
It's either if you're going to be a dance band, cool, people like to dance. But if you're going to be a rock band, you got to be smart about it. You can't be picking like freaking Anvil.
Okay.
You don't want to do an Anvil tribute because it's only going to be dudes with BO there.
Yeah.
You know? We try to be like, okay, let's find bands that girls like because they're going to bring the guys. Mm-hmm. So Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Journey, Stix and Foreigner, they kind of like progressive. Well, Stix is progressive, so it's kind of like, I don't know. You know, I love Stix. They're great songs and stuff, but I wouldn't say they're going to bring out a lot of girls, but the other bands will. Yeah. You know, Foreigner, I think
Foreigner's a win. They got to be in the conversation.
Yeah, Foreigner's got some great songs, you know. But we try to work at the singer's strength, right? Derek, he can sound just like a lot of those bands, so we pick those for a reason.
Gotcha.
Because he does them very good.
Yeah.
He sounds like Def Leppard. I mean, he's got Joe Elliott's sound. He can morph into all these guys. I mean, he just knows how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what really fuels that band. We work around him.
Yeah. And you talked about snagging the sounds for the drums for Def Leppard. Mm-hmm. How did y'all? What was the method?
YouTube, man. They got samples out there. They also have sample packs that you can buy with that's things that are really close.
Okay.
You know, so I'll go in and I'll sample just a kick drum. You know, and I'll put it on the trigger.
Yeah, but you're not buying like the Def Leppard sound pack. Like you have to know what the hell you're looking for before you know what I'm saying? You're like, that's going to be maybe this or maybe that, and then go Google that shit.
I can just extract it from the record sometimes, you know. It's easy. And I just get the kick drum, and that's the kick drum that we use. Get the snare drum, you know, if it's a certain snare. Freaking Pyromania, that snare drum is pretty, you know it. It sounds just like Def Leppard when you hear Photograph.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that sound, but I go sample that. And then we just put a trigger on the drums, and then we get that sound.
Yeah, that was that defined the '80s. I think somebody was talking about Phil.
Anselmo?
No,
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins. Thank you. I think somebody was talking about Phil Collins and that traditional, that 80s snare and the 80s
Dude, yeah.
drum. Yeah, like
Friggin',
it brings you back to
In the
you
Air
know exactly where we're coming from. Yes. You could hear that one clip. Everybody knows where that came from.
Yep.
It's a significant sound. Okay, I kind of answered my own question on that.
Yeah, man.
I see what you're talking about.
Very distinct sound. You know, if you're gonna play that song, when that part comes up, you want to make sure
Gotta have it.
you got those Simmons tom. I mean, they're freaking huge.
Yeah, that's
you know,
funny.
all those things make a difference. You know, when you go see a band that plays a Journey song or a Def Leppard song, and then you go see a tribute band, there's a difference because the bar bands, they don't really focus on a lot of the elements. They just play the song and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But the tribute band is going to have the drum sound. They're going to have all the keyboard sounds.
Okay.
The guitar sound's going to be pretty close. You know, got to have two guitars for Def Leppard because they got all the harmonies. You know, it makes it more authentic when you have two to play the parts right.
Yeah.
The vocals. Dude, that's vital for a band. You got to have the vocals. Harmonies. A lot of bands out there, they don't understand how harmony works. That's just, you got to know it. Over time, I mean, I just learned it just from singing with all these classic bands. Like, all those old bands that have harmony. Little River Band, you know, those guys, freaking harmonies are incredible. You got to learn it. You got to learn how harmonies intertwine with each other. It's crazy, you know.
That's awesome.
The melody line, you know, where the melody is, where the harmony is, and they got one above it, below it. Sometimes they got five, and you just never know. They're thickly layered, you know, but those are good bands to listen to try to learn harmony. Little River Band, go check them out.
Yeah.
They were my favorite.
I love them too, man. It's so funny to hear you talk about all of this because you're dissecting. You're like forensics.
I am.
You know,
dude.
you're kind of dissecting what happened and,
what I love
and then
to
trying
be.
to reconstruct it in order to explain it.
I'm musical CSI, bro. I go in there and I freaking get in there and I dissect it. I learn all the parts.
That's awesome.
Right. I'm a keyboard player too, so I can help out with the keys, you know. So I like that because when I was a kid, I learned how to play guitar. And everybody had a guitar player.
Yeah.
But nobody had a guitar player and a keyboard player too. So I learned how to play keys in case they need a keyboard player at times, you know? Try to be more diverse.
I don't know how you do that because I came up playing on keys and it warps my brain when you go look at the guitar neck because it's like having a keyboard overlap itself every 5 semitones or 5 notes. It fucks with my brain, man. Yeah. So like to play those two, I could see a drummer playing bass or a bassist playing drums. That makes sense. It's the syncopation, right? But when it comes to these two, it's just like, man, they don't mash in my brain cells.
Right. And what's funny is by playing piano, like I get to see the chords very like, I don't know, just a C major 7, right? Most people see it as a C major 7. It's a C with a freaking major 7th as the degree, but I see it as an E minor chord in your right hand and a C right here. There you go, C major 7.
Nice.
And you can see it in front of you better on a piano. You see the notes like, oh, dude, that's this chord here with this note here in the left hand. Wow, okay, I see what that is now. It opened up a whole new door to me because I could never understand certain things about music like that and see it on a piano in front of you. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
You know, on a guitar, it's not so easy.
No.
You know, but on here, you see it so much easier.
Yeah.
I guess because it's just black and white. You see the notes, and I don't know, it just resonated with me. I get it now.
Yeah. That's funny.
But now I'm trying to learn drums, so I bought me a drum kit.
You know, I didn't even think to ask because I'm sitting here facing you talking about all of this stuff. So yeah, so this is next. I mean,
I've been practicing drums, dude. I'm trying to be a drummer now. I want to be able to do it all, dude. I want to be like Bugs Bunny in that one way he's got like the kick drum with his hitting his foot. He's got the hi-hat on his head. And he's like hitting something in front of him and he's walking.
He is the whole marching band.
Dude, he's everything. You remember that cartoon?
Yes.
He's walking down the street.
Yeah.
No, I just love music, man. I want to be able to play it all as much as I can. I mean, I'm never going to be able to play like bassoon.
Yeah.
No, who wants to play that? Nobody. I want to rock and roll, dude. I want to play some drums.
You try to pull chicks, don't play bassoon.
No, dude. Don't play bassoon or freaking oboe. I don't know.
There you go.
You're going to be in the orchestra, that's cool. You know, play for those guys. But I want to rock and roll, dude. I want to play some drums.
Yeah.
Got a double bass. I had that built because, I don't know, man. I'm fascinated with drums, too. Like, I just don't know. Like the beginning of Over the Mountain and shit like that. Freaking great.
Yeah.
You know? I want to be able to do that, too. not going to be great at it. I'm not going to devote the rest of my life to playing drums, but I can keep a beat and stuff.
Yeah, but like
You
sitting
know?
down writing a song, you never know where it's going
That's
to lead
why I
you.
got
so,
it.
I mean,
In case I write a song, I can play my own parts and put the drum beat down, you know,
Sure.
or I can play it on my keyboard, you know. So I can go in there and enter it with, you know, my keyboard. I got drum plugins.
That's awesome.
So, oh yeah.
Tell everybody where they can find your information, bookings, schedules.
You know, yeah, like I'm on Facebook all over the place. I got a website, mojeauxband.com. That's MOJEAUX BAND.com. I got Rock Show NOLA. It's rockshownollarocks.com. I mean, you can find us all over. I got the Generators. We don't really have a website because it's a little fun band, but we're all over locally, you know.
Yeah, but you said regularly, Jaeger's Thursdays.
We play Jaeger's Thursday. We're at Whiskey Cowboy like one Wednesday a month. We're at Cleary Tavern one Wednesday a month. We play at the Landing in Slidell like twice a month. We do a Friday and a Sunday. And that place has been really doing well for us. Got a lot of people that saw the band and they were like, man, there's nobody else around here that does what y'all do. And I'm like, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, you made the distinction for me between a cover band and a tribute band, and that's something that I had never heard
Most people
before.
don't think about all that.
And with the things that you're naming that occurred to you to be able to replicate or to find out how to replicate and make sure you nail it, I, for one, would be interested, and I hope they are too, in coming out to see that manifest itself because it's very well articulated here. Yeah. I'd like to see how it translates on stage, and it sounds like it would knock it out the park. You know?
Oh yeah, it's definitely, that's vital, man. You got to have the sounds, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm going to be in a project, it's going to have to be right.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't want to play with a bunch of people that just play everything wrong.
Wing it, yeah.
I mean, like, I get it. Like, my little three-piece, we don't rehearse. We just go up there and wing a lot of things, but we wing it really good.
Yeah.
You know, like, for the most part, people can't tell that we didn't know it.
Right.
We don't even know these songs. We're just trying to pull it up in our brain. And
sure, but some of the guys
it.
that you're mentioning, the pedigree, I mean, it's obviously, it's going to come together all right one way or the other.
I fully trust Rocktopus. He's my keyboard player. I call him Rocktopus because he's got 9 arms.
That's awesome.
The guy's playing strings and organ and clavinet and, dude, horn parts and bass and singing while playing piano or synth. Dude, his keyboard, he's got 3 MIDI keyboards and like,
wow.
Between those 3 keyboards, he's got so many sounds and he's got patches on his computer. And dude, he'll pull up a patch and it's got like every sound that he needs and he sings the damn songs and he's incredible. You got to come out and see this guy. His name's Greg Torres. Best musician I've ever played with in my life.
What to look for on social? Did you name that? What
The Generators?
Any one of them?
Yeah, I got mojeauxband.com, right? That's my wedding band. And then we got Rock Show NOLA, which is a tribute. And then we got The Generators, which, I mean, it's all on my Facebook. Andrew James, I'm on, you know.
That's what I was getting at. What the name was on Facebook.
Yeah, if you search Andrew James and, you know, just look for KISS stuff. That's me most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, The Generators, we don't really, like I said, we do have a Facebook, but we don't have a website.
Yeah.
And then Phase 5, that's just my little weekday classic rock band we play.
All right.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's all I do, bro. I like to rock and roll.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, you lose it. So, dude, I like to use it overload.
Yeah, I think you are. You're not going to lose it anytime soon, man.
Right.
Thank you for your time, man.
Thank you, Dave.
It.
Yeah, brother. Nice meeting you, man.
You too.
Appreciate it.